Watch his pictures.
Not usually. Sometimes some highlights.
I was just curious, growing up, which one of your brothers would you say you maybe try to emulate the most, like you know, being the youngest brother? Like, was there one in particular that maybe you gravitated to more or copied more in terms of athletics?
Yeah. You know, I think it's really hard to kind of narrow it down to one. I think, you know, I could probably take, you know, one from each. You know, probably the main characteristic from Luke is just his work ethic and the way he works. Cole, I think, just his personality. I keep things light. He's always, you know, he's fun to be around. He lightens the room, and Bo, just the way he treats other people. You know, no matter who it is, Bo, you know, he cares about and asks about them, and just, you know, always good manners, and just try to, you know, take it from each one of them. And I think I try to, you know, emulate as much as I can from them, because, you know, there's three. They're my best friends, and just the way they handle themselves is something that I admire.
And as much as you are focused on the season and, you know, winning games and everything, having your name thrown around in terms of the Heisman race, have you taken a moment just to think about how cool that is? I mean, you know, coming from just playing in the backyard kind of thing to now actually having your name out there like that? Yeah,
I really haven't sat down and really thought about it like that. You know, we still got, you know, a few weeks left, but you know, obviously hearing my name in some of those conversations is a blessing. It's, you know, it's a dream. So I really haven't sat down. I think I need to do more of that, you know, throughout the season. Just, you know, especially after a win. I think after that one at Wake, I think in the locker room when kind of everybody's just jumping around. I jumped around for a little bit, but then I really sat down and just kind of, you know, thought about the game and just kind of overlooked the win. I think I need to do that more. I think that's a good point, just to try to, you know, realize what, you know, what we got going and enjoy the moment.
Do you remember the first time that you heard your name come up?
No, I couldn't exactly remember. Maybe, I mean, obviously some of the students in walking to class and stuff. But seriously, other than that, maybe running off the field. Virginia was the first time I feel like a lot of people started saying it. I think.
What was your reaction?
I think it was a pretty cool moment. You know, knowing you know, the Tar Heel Nation supported me, and the way they've, you know, come to the away games, and I feel like that whole side of the Wake game especially was Carolina blue. So just embracing it, and at the same time realize you know, that stuff, like I say, comes with winning games. So just trying to do my part.
Did you hear the Carolina fans late in the Wake game cheering during the rally?
Yeah, yes sir. Yeah, I heard that one. I think it may have been around the time when I slid too early and missed the first down, which looked like a bozo. So ended up getting it worked out. But no, they've been awesome, I think, throughout the whole season. So we're going to need them in some of these games coming up. So I'm sure they'll show out.
They did the pit game too.
Yeah, yes sir.
When you were going off, do you remember that?
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it may have been it. It may have been Pitt. Yeah. So one of those. So they've been nice. They've been supporters.
When you were talking about being at Wake and everybody celebrating, and you were celebrating, but then you decided to sit down for a little bit. Like, why? What do you think came over you then, and what were you thinking about? Like, what caused you to pull out of it a little bit?
I think maybe just, you know, kind of the built up of these stressful road games, kind of having that final one, you know, pulling it out. And I think just sitting back and seeing that trophy get passed around, just enjoying it, and just kind of admiring the guys, and, you know, how much work we put in, and just overlooking, you know, how much. I mean, it's all year round. It's a year round thing, and how much, you know, we work for it. It's just seeing just a proud moment of seeing.
So it was a nice moment.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned kind of the stress of road games, but I feel like, you know, every time we've kind of talked about a road game or coming down to the wire, the belief is put it in Drake's hand, he's going to get the job done. I mean, what is it like to have the coaching staff and fellow players just have that kind of confidence in you?
No, yeah, I mean, it's ultimate. I think, you know, a lot of times, you know, it's not just me that makes a play, whether it's, you know, a guy making a block, or you know, Josh, or you know, some of the receivers, tight ends, you know, making a big catch. So I think, you know, it also falls on me because I'm the quarterback, but at the same time, I think a lot of people kind of portray that go into the needed resilience at the end. I don't know if that's the right word, but also the defense making big stops. I think that goes, you know, underlooked. They've made some big plays at the end of games, so putting it in my hands, but also the defense has been tremendous at the end of the game, especially fourth quarter. They put together some tremendous stops.
Drake, one of the players that died in the shooting at UVA, Devin Chandler, is from the Charlotte area, pretty close to your hometown. Did you know him, and how did this whole situation affect affected you given how recently you played that team?
Oh yeah, I knew Devin pretty well. I used to go out and throw with him in throwing sessions. Be around from the same area. The players that go off to college. He was a great player. Played at Huff, which I went to my freshman year. So I transferred in after that. But I knew a lot of players at Huff that were best friends with him. I think Chance Carroll on our team. He played at Huff. He played with Devin. He was sick. He's been battled some stuff. So it's just a tragedy. Anytime that something that reckless happens, and just hearing some story of what happened, just awful news, and just praying thoughts and prayers out to the UVA community.
The weight game seemed like it was very physical, and by the end of the game, your body language looked like you really took a lot of hits.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel after the weight game? How do you feel now?
Yeah, I think starting off, I feel pretty good. I've been getting in the training room a little bit. I feel good. I felt good out there at practice this morning. After the game, it's just one of those things any player, getting a lot of reps throughout the game. It's a physical game, so you're going to feel beat up. But I thought I felt pretty good.
Was that game more physical than any of the other, or was it about the same?
I think it's about the same. I think one other game I felt like I was hurting pretty bad, but that's just part of it. Part comes with it, and they got to do a better job of avoiding those hits because durability is a big thing as a quarterback.
Max said about the possession that led to right after Cam's interception when you guys got the game-winning field goal. You got down to the 5-yard line, had a first down there, and he said you guys, quote, messed it up. There was the sack and a couple of throwaways. What did you learn in film with Phil, going back and looking at how that possession played out?
Yeah, it's just it was a bad part of my part. That first down, 1st and 5. I don't think we had anything there. I tried to make a play. It's just kind of really just immature play. I think it's one of my first ones of the season where I just tried to make a play when I didn't need to. Tried to do too much. I think that just after that set us behind the sticks, and those next 3 plays, compared to the week, they kind of dropped back because they probably knew we were going to pass it, and they played good coverage. So we didn't keep the clock rolling. We didn't get in the end zone, but we ended up getting 3. We ended up working out. So at the end of that, that's all that matters. We're definitely learning experience. Just for me, especially in those big time moments, you got to kind of slow down and realize what's the best thing to do in that situation.
You mentioned taking a moment for yourself after the weight game and kind of soak it all in. Have you done that at any point with the season at large, and kind of how far you've come as a player, how far you guys have come as a team since August to take a moment and reflect on that?
No, I really haven't. I think kind of that the first time I was in the locker room after weight where I really sat down and kind of thought about particularly that game, just because a big game, clinching the Coastal. But I think it's something. I think maybe after that state game, or probably when it's kind of a break, I think I'll definitely sit down and probably watch some highlights or watch kind of the course of the season just to see how special it's been.
Drake, what CL was asking about with your brothers, just with the Heisman talk growing and growing and growing, like, is there anyone like your dad, your mom, Luke, whoever, Bo, that you have talked to just about the Heisman, or has given you any sort of advice, like, man, this thing is really starting to become real here? Like, anybody there that you've just been in touch with, that you've been talking about the Heisman with, or they've been sort of maybe giving you some pointers or some help with this whole thing taking off like it has?
No, I really, particularly my family, I really haven't, really haven't mentioned it much. I think most of my family, I had some cousins in from California at that weight game, so we kind of briefly talked about it. Jeremy had me on the ESPN radio after the game, so they kind of heard some of the conversation they were talking to me about it. But it's really not kind of been the elephant in the room, but we've just been rolling on with the season and just trying to play one week at a time and see how things unfold. But mainly it's stuff that talk about it. It's usually with Jeremy, so mainly just talking about it with Jeremy. But other than that, not really kind of, not that I need it really, just but I think that's a good point. Just kind of get some pointers, but I think it's maybe something I should look into.
I don't know if there are pointers to get. I just didn't know if, your dad or somebody.
What would it mean, though, just to even receive an invite to New York and be sitting with 4 of the best players in the country and just getting that type of recognition, even if you don't win it, just being in that position?
No, I think it'd mean the world to me. I think, especially going to, up there with, 3 other tremendous players, been, a lot of players this season who play really well, but just getting an invite, I think that was pretty special. You're growing up watching, all those guys, seeing different quarterbacks, and people are kind of arguing that's becoming kind of the quarterback award, but you've seen some running backs and stuff like that this year. Who's starting in the talk, so I think it's just one of the best awards in college football, and kind of one of the best awards in college sports. So just getting an opportunity to go would be pretty cool. For sure.
Is the trajectory of the season surreal at all? I mean, 4 months ago you were in a quarterback battle, and now you're being talked about winning the Heisman Award.
Yeah, I think it happened pretty fast, but I think it's nothing that I didn't expect. Not that I expected to be in these conversations, but I expected us to have a good season and being a chance to when they see Coastal. I think I saw something the other day when Will Shipley committed to Clemson. I think I said see you in the ACC championship, so I think it's pretty cool seeing that come to life in this first year. So it's been a special journey, but we got some more work to do.
Did you guys got anything about Georgia Tech? Because he's got it.
I have something that's not.
Did you remember tweeting that?
No, I didn't remember tweeting that. Actually, I was actually surprised I'd tweet something like that. But no, Wilson, he's a great player and having a great year, so he's one of my good friends.
I have a Georgia Tech question.
Huh?
I have a Georgia Tech
I have.
question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Adam.
You sure? You were giving us the business a little bit the other night, and you're like, you guys keep asking about me and Josh, which I know, I get it. Wanted to ask you about Josh's toughness. Like, I mean, the guy left the game and got an IV the other night.
Yeah.
He's got a full body cramp going on. Just like, I mean, beyond the speed and everything that he does, like, I mean, does he just keep showing you more and more just what a dude he is? Like, I mean, what have you thought about just the way he seems like he's just taking it to another level?
Yeah, he's as special as it gets, I think he was over there, I was making fun of him, he's just starfished out when he got that full body cramp.
Right.
I think if he stayed on his feet, he probably would have caught his 4th touchdown of the night. So he's this incredible player, ended up coming back and making a huge play to get us down to the 5. Making the guy miss. I thought he was about to score that one. So anytime the ball in his hands, it's fun to watch him. But just his passion and love for the game just shows. As a Georgia kid, this one would be big for him. Georgia Tech, I get back at them. So any given week, Josh can bring it all. He knows what's coming from number 11. So.
Max said that yesterday, he said that this week's a really important week to see how you guys are with the player-led team and getting yourselves ready after achieving something tangible the other day. Does it help the fact that it's Georgia Tech, especially the way the game played out last year?
I think they call it a trap game. I think it's one of those things where we got to bring it because it's going to be cold. Kind of some things like last year, we walked in there and they beat us up pretty good. So we just got to be, clicking on all cylinders and just treat it like any other game because I know, these guys, last year, they kind of thought that ruined our season, but set it off on a bad foot. So I just got to, get at them and watch some film and do the same things we're doing these past weeks because it's been working.
You haven't met a defense this year that you haven't been able to overcome. Is there anything about Georgia Tech that does pop out to you? Based off whatever film you have seen?
Yeah, I think they're long, athletic. I think they got some a set of good corners that are pretty long, and they're going to be physical. They're going to bring it, and I think they're going to punch us in the mouth. And we've got everybody's best shot, so we just got to do a good job responding. But they're going to play hard because I think this is kind of their bowl game, I guess. Because I think they said they ruled out they have to beat both of us to make a bowl game, so they're playing for it all, and they're going to come hard. So we. Got to go at them.